Light and dark is a theme that's been explored in spiritual traditions for centuries. And at its core, it represents the forces within us that drive our thoughts, emotions, and therefore actions. It's really this push and pull energy between our highest potential and the parts of ourselves that hold us back, wounds, okay? And I want to talk about the light and dark within each of us so that we can fully embrace and understand how balancing out our emotions and our forward movement can help us choose our own path to growth and full healing, and also discuss any discrepancies within the spiritual community about what living in the light means, as this will help us step into spiritual awakening. And the truth is, we all stand at a crossroads, right? To really knowing what being in the light is. And each day we have to make that choice to make the difficult decisions. And sometimes it is those difficult decisions that are love and light energies. And when it comes to choosing and reflecting between the good and the bad, the light always represents love, wisdom, difficult decisions that are about choosing self, peace, and growth, where darkness is more about fear, insecurity, doubt, resistance, and lack of trust within yourself or your intuition. While these forces are not separate, they are within us, and it is part of our mission and our journey to integrate them and make the decisions that are best for ourselves. And in this video, I want to guide you through fully understanding the role of both light and dark in our life, and how to consciously choose the path that aligns with your highest self, because spiritual awakening and spiritual mission is all about you and your needs, and how you can use both forces to grow spiritually and make the decisions that are best for you, because light does not always equal love and light, and living in Delulu is the Salulu. Okay, so let's start with uncovering light in general. When we talk about light in a highly elevated spiritual sense, we're talking about illumination, seeing the truth beneath the darkness, unveiling, unmasking truth, authenticity, awareness, wisdom, higher consciousness, bird's eye view. The light often represents the truth of who we are at our core, our connection to deeper understanding. And usually that involves ourselves, our potential, our love, compassion. Usually love and light is the difficult answer, saying yes to the things that you think you can't do, okay? And also understanding how interconnected we really are. The light is the voice within you that says you are enough, you are love. It's trusting your own inner wisdom and your own knowing versus other people who have not walked in your shoes, and knowing what's best for you regardless of what people say. It's the part of you that understands your own worth, your own value, and what you bring to this world. When we choose the light, we choose to live in alignment with our highest self. We trust in our own knowing, our own intuition, and this allows us to follow the path of faith that brings everything as it should. You have never been abandoned, especially for me. There's never been a time that Source, God, Universe abandoned me, even when I made the difficult decisions, as well as for you. Take a moment to reflect on that, because let's not mistake light for a life without challenges. It's knowing that through the challenges, we will still come out on top. Choosing the light doesn't mean avoiding difficult decisions. Actually, on the contrary, to be honest, the light is what calls us to face our fears, to confront our limitations, and to do that deep work, especially when it comes to subconscious programming from 0 to 7 years old, what you watch your family and parents go through. This is what's going to free us. When we are fully aligned with the light, we have the strength and the wisdom to move through these challenges with ultimate clarity, with ultimate purpose, as well as understanding, because it's knowing who you are. Now let's talk about darkness, okay? And darkness isn't bad, it's not evil, it's not negative, and it's not like anything that's really portrayed on social media. All darkness is the absence of light. Darkness is the shadow within us. It's the parts of ourselves that we choose not to look at. Fear, doubt, heavy trauma, unresolved trauma, new trauma that we didn't even know was trauma, limiting beliefs, all of the aspects of ourselves that are a part of us that we carry, that we either neglect or suppress, that we're afraid to look at, but are actually still there and have been there and maybe even built upon, that influence our thoughts and behaviors. Darkness is not something to fear because it's what makes us human beings. It's part of the human experience. No matter how high vibrational you are, you still have a percentage of self that needs to be worked on because you're still here. It's the place where growth happens. Growth happens when you feel uncomfortable. It's often in our darkest moments that we learn the most about ourselves. But oftentimes, people leave the darkest parts of themselves unchecked. This is where they get stuck. This is where you play small. This is where you repeat patterns. This is where you can't step into your mission. And this is where you're not fully living in the aspect of what best serves you. And here's the thing. Light and dark are not separate. They're both one part of the same whole. The yin and the yang. And where the dark and the light are balanced and interwoven, neither is superior. They're coexisting together because we need both lights and both dark in order to grow. Now, without darkness, we wouldn't understand the value and knowing how to overcome the light, unmasking, seeing the truth, lies, illusion. And without light, we wouldn't even be able to look at our own shadow and navigate the difficult parts within us, as well as other people, seeing darkness within other people. And this is where we address that inner struggle. And this is the moment of inner struggle where we are most being challenged. So let's get deeper here. You've likely experienced moments in your life where you felt pulled in many different directions. Maybe you were in a narcissistic relationship, or your parent was a narcissist, or you were in a situation that felt really wrong for you to leave, or you were too afraid because of uncertainty or trauma. And maybe this has also happened within career where you were overworking and the underdog, and you were too afraid to decide to let go of that position and being afraid of stepping into that unknown. Or maybe this is just like an overall internal struggle, confirmation hiccup, where it's difficult to know, should I follow my heart? Should I follow my head? You know, sometimes the heart is an idiot, but sometimes the head doesn't see that overall perspective because you need your heart to see from a higher level perspective. So then there's that tug of war because you can't be too logical. And this is the direct manifestation. This is the breakthrough points, the battle between light and dark, where you know, okay, I'm right about to have a breakthrough. I'm going to have a manifestation, because the voice of fear and darkness says, stay where it's safe. Versus the voice of love says, trust yourself, trust the process, trust God, source, universe, trust that you're supported. And within this conflict of your higher self and your wounded inner child, you know that you are capable of greater things than where you're at. But it's your shadow self that tells you, no. I'm scared, I'm doubting, I'm judging, I'm fearful. And within this inner conflict is when your biggest breakthrough happens. Because you're presented with a choice. You can stay in the dark. You can stay at that job, in that opportunity where it's sucking you dry, taking your money, lacking forward movement, where things are familiar, that don't bring you joy, that don't bring you fulfillment, that don't bring you forward movement. Or you can choose that light. But that light always requires trust and courage and a willingness to face the unknown. Because that's where the actual real spiritual work is. And 9 times out of 10, if you're choosing the darker, easier path, you're not going to get those blessings that you want. Because it's part of not avoiding that fear and not running from darkness, and actually embracing yourself with compassion and leaving that job, leaving that relationship. That's where those blessings come in. It's looking at your life with compassion and understanding and choosing light, because it's not easy. And that's how you know that you're in alignment with your highest truth, because change is the highest truth. And that's where the breakthroughs happen to come, when you release the fear and you release that internal resistance to forward movement. Because here's the thing, that fear, that wounded inner child plays such a huge role within the dark. Fear keeps us stuck in the patterns of resistance. It tells you, let's play small. What if I fail? What if I'm not good enough? What if I'm not capable of handling this? But the truth is, fear is only projection of what other people said and not knowing what the future holds. Okay, but the truth is, fear never goes away. It's always part of the journey. I think Miley Cyrus said when she was speaking on stage, I'm still scared. I'm still human, right? The question is, how do you deal with fear? How do you navigate it? Shamanic healings, okay, as always. But you have to be in a point where it doesn't stop you or hold you back from stepping into your greatness and into your power. The key is to not let fear control you. Fear is simply an emotion. As easy it is to say, obviously it's harder to work through, but it's just a reaction to the unknown. It's a reaction to your past. But that's where like self-belief and trusting in God's source universe comes in. The more you step into the light, the more you align with love, the more fear loses its power. Every time you take a step towards something, anything that scares you, whether it's starting a new job, starting a new project, ending a toxic relationship, going no contact, speaking your truth, you are actively choosing the light. 11:11 as I look down. Because you're telling Source God Universe, fear doesn't control me. And while you know that obviously fear won't go away overnight, and it may still be there in the future, it's something that you have to constantly say, I'm good enough. And the more you face it, the more you shift your consciousness from being ruled by fear and by darkness and by shadow to being guided by love. You don't eliminate the darkness because it's always within you, but you illuminate it. You integrate it. And therefore it's less intimidating and you love those aspects of you. And therefore it's more manageable. Therefore, you can post on social media and speak your truth and cut off the people that don't serve you and make the difficult decisions. Choosing the light is not a one-time decision. It's something that you have to do every day and look at your life every day. Am I here choosing what's best for me? Am I reacting from a place of love or fear? And every day you're presented with multiple opportunities to choose courage and to choose change and peace and trust and releasing doubt, especially lessons in life are often cyclical and the same lesson can keep repeating itself over and over again in different places within your life. So how do you make these choices? It starts with self-awareness. Now, if you need help with self-awareness or understanding things at a deeper level, discernment, again, message me in a book of Shamanic healing. But the more you understand yourself, your inner world, the more you can distinguish the voice of fear and the voice of love, the voice of ego and the voice of higher self. I always tell my clients, ego screams, intuition whispers. And this awareness has you stepping in and making conscious decisions rather than making decisions from a wounded inner child, autopilot, or habit. Okay? And if y'all need help with this, you can always practice mindfulness, meditation, getting grounded, and really connecting to that higher self. So it's up to you, babe. Are you going to choose the path of light and tap in to that inner wisdom that's always been available to you? Because when you make the decision to choose the light, you're not just choosing peace, you're not just choosing positivity, but you're actually choosing empowerment. You're choosing to step into your true and authentic self, your highest potential. You're choosing trust. You're choosing God's source universe. You're choosing your own capabilities. You're knowing that and receiving whatever life brings you, you know that you can overcome. You know that you can succeed. And you've always had it within you. And it's all about really embracing that shadow. Okay, let's get deeper. I wasn't going to, but I'm actually feeling we should get a little bit deeper here, okay? Let's talk about shadow work. So As I mentioned earlier, choosing the light doesn't mean rejecting the dark. The darkness within us is simply the parts of ourselves that we've neglected or ignored. Those unresolved wounds, limiting beliefs, and fears. And it's just parts of us that we're afraid to face. But here's the thing. Shadow work is not about fixing yourself. It's about accepting and integrating the darkness that all of us have, that's always been a part of you since the beginning of time, and allowing it to bring you into the light. Allowing it to lose its power over you. Yeah, shadow work is the most difficult thing you can do. And if you're like me, you avoid it a million times, okay? But it's actually what's going to help you bring up painful emotions. And every time you face one of your shadows, whether it's fear of failure, trauma, negative beliefs about yourself, you're making space for healings, blessings, and new beginnings. When you heal, you grow. When you release the things, the people, places, and things that no longer serve you, you are actively making room for more light. You are actively making room for more blessings, breakthrough, prosperity, empowerment. And the choice has always been within you. That's the power here. In the end, the greatest gift we have is the power of choice. Free will. You get to decide how you want to show up in this world. You get to choose whether you'll let fear, doubt, negativity control your life, or whether you're going to choose love, trust, personal improvement, personal empowerment, growth, forward movement, prosperity, and blessings. It's ultimately your decision. It's your path. You are the one who gets to choose. So what are you going to do with that? I love you. Just keep shining. You've got this, baby.